to Kidmissing TV. Buckle in, guys, because this is going to be a long one. This is what I'm calling the Middlebury 3. 3 of the bodies were found in the woods in Middlebury, Vermont. Does that remind you of anything? It's neighboring state. And the Allenstown 3? Yeah, very similar, except these poor people had been there since 1935 approximately. They died between 1932 and 1934 and were discovered in 1935. They were a 9 to 11-year-old male and another of undetermined sex around the ages of 13 to 15. I'm sorry, at that age, an anthropologist should be able to tell sex. Because that's post-puberty. DNA indicates that the woman that was also found, age 25 to 35, was related to at least one of the children. The location has recently been identified, the location of the remains, as off of Burnham Drive, a road that did not exist at the time. The woman's cause of death was a gunshot wound to the head, and she died between 1932 and 1934. Her clothing, she had pearl buttons similar to those used on pajamas at the time. There were feathers, probably from a pillow. There was a canvas awning with a wheel pulley still attached. Okay. So the thing that curled up the awning and stretched it out was still attached. Somebody was desperate to find something to wrap these bodies in. I would think back then the awning, which is described as being either black and white or green and white, although I don't see that here, was probably on a business. That's my thought, is that the awning must have been on a business. Does somebody remember, Grandpa having a little store or something, and he had an awning, and then, or do you remember a little store in your neighborhood in that area of Vermont whose awning all of a sudden disappeared during that time period? And I realize most people from that time period are no longer alive, but maybe you were a little kid and you used to walk by that store every day on your way home from school, and one day you went to run under the awning because it started raining and the awning wasn't there anymore. Anything like that. Originally, it was an old logging road in East Middlebury. Again, she was found with the male skeleton and the unknown skeleton. Let's see. They only made recreations of the woman and the younger child, which, let's see if I can find. I'm trying to find where it said the caliber of the bullet. She was younger than 45 years old. Oh, 35 to 45. Okay. She was white. An estimated height of 62 inches, so she's just a little over 5 feet. Near complete or complete skeleton. Yep. Yeah, there are no fingerprints on a skeleton. Again, the pearl buttons, the canvas awning. They do have her dental charts in, which is great. They think this is one of the oldest cold cases, if not the oldest, in Vermont's history. They were found in June of 1935. Route 116 is nearby, in the town of East Middlebury. Um, the three had been slain by a gunshot wound to the head by a .38 caliber type of weapon. Found near the victims was the awning, old automobile curtains, and a woolen blanket. What the hell is an automobile curtain? I was wondering that when I read it when I was doing my research, and I should have looked it up. Let's look this up, guys, because I'm confused. Oops. No. No. I'm wondering. Okay. They're old. They're from old cars. That's what I thought. So they would most likely an automobile curtain would be in a limousine or a hearse, something like that. It looks like. So that's the answer. I was thinking curtains like on a horse and carriage because you were talking so long ago, but they probably weren't driving horses and buggies in the 30s. Little Henry Ford had kind of given them the motorized vehicle. Oh, excuse me, guys. Hey, guys, I'm back. It is freezing outside. My neighbor had some ham, and he wanted to give me some. Yay! Got a good deal, too, 79 cents a pound. Anyway, back to this strange case in Vermont. According to news reports, a hunter reported a terrible odor in the area back in 1932. It's possible that the victims were family members and killed back then. Two of the bodies were laid out next to each other, while the third was placed on top of them at a right angle. Okay, so I'm picturing two bodies and then another body over the top of them like that. You know what I mean? Two, and then, well, here we go. Two like that and one like that. That's what I'm picturing. It has been theorized the victims may have been Eastern European Jewish, Turkish, or Syrian. Nobody knows if the case is still being investigated by the Vermont State Police. But I think it is, because she's in Namus. She's the Addison County Jane Doe. So yeah, I believe it is being investigated. In 2020, the Burlington Free Press even wrote about it. This article, like I said, a 1935 Middlebury cold case. Detective Chris Bodish and State Archivist Tanya Marshall for the Free Press, published on October 30th, 2016. What happens to an 80-year-old cold case that hasn't had a lead in more than 70 years? How do you identify the victims of a violent crime 80 years after they were discovered? Can the Vermont State Archives and Records Administration be the link to solve a 1935 triple homicide? A gravestone in Middlebury where the three unknown victims of the homicide are buried. I guess there was a picture. I don't know if it's in the poster. So I guess they are still working on it, the archivist, which is great because those are people that really know their stuff. Especially if they're the state archivist, then they know their stuff about the state. Including ruling out a mother that they found a certificate of death for in the state archives. Trying to find it. I don't see a phone number. But the authors of the article would like to thank researchers Brian Lindner and Anne Bilby for providing some of the background information for the article. Again, I don't have a phone number, but it does have a case number in Addison County of 15B0000503. So they are still working the case, and it is in NamUs. So that tells me they're still working it, which is wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me for this rather lengthy case. And I'm sorry I got interrupted in the middle. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget to click subscribe if you're new. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.